everyone, welcome to my channel. So this is actually my very first video here. I'm a little bit nervous. I have my little cheat sheet jot down here about being a YouTuber for a while, but never had such a strong urge to share the things with you guys until the outbreak of the coronavirus. I live in Manhattan, which is the epicenter of the coronavirus right now. I think the confirmed cases was about 13,000 last night, which is quite shocking from, only a couple of the cases beginning of the month. So I've been hearing a lot of things from the news. Actually, my parents living in China, so they just went through the whole thing about 2 months ago. And I also heard a lot of story from there. So I thought I would just share with you guys some of the things I say might not be exactly the same as what the CDC and government tell you to, but just look at it as a different perspective, and I'm sure you have your own judgment of what's best for you. So the first thing I want to talk about is the mask issue. Since the very beginning, the US government and the CDC have been telling the public that if you're not sick, you're not confirmed with the virus, you're not medical professionals, don't wear the mask. You don't need to wear the mask, which is quite shocking for me because we all know that the coronavirus have at least 14 days incubation period, which means you can be an asymptomatic patient but still have the power to transfer the virus to other people. So if the asymptomatic patients didn't know he or she has the virus and was not self-quarantine, that just means he or she has a great chance to transmit the virus to other people. And if you happen to be not wearing a mask, then you're more susceptible to get infected by the virus. Actually, one of the extreme cases happened in my hometown. The guy went to the grocery market, buy some stuff, and happened to stand to an asymptomatic patient. And a few days later, he got infected with the virus too. They didn't even talk to each other. It was just standing next to each other. And that was caught by the surveillance camera when they later on start to track, who he has get in touch to over the past 2 weeks. So I think it's quite important. I'm not saying you should hoard the mask, which apparently become legal right now. I'm just saying that get a few if you can and wear it when you go outside, when you go to crowded areas. Now probably, most people are staying at home, which is good, because the best way to cut down or flatten the curve for this virus is just to isolate the areas that are being infected and cut down from the source. The sooner we do that, the flatter the curves are gonna be. But I don't think people are taking, not everyone, but there's a certain group of people that don't take the social distancing very seriously. So as I mentioned, I live in New York, and then the city has been shut down. All the restaurants and clubs, all the public schools are shut down. Governor Andrew Cuomo says 100% work reduction, which means everyone's working from home or not working. And once after all those orders being effective, people are still casually, playing team sports in park or doing some unnecessary things. It's great you work out, but then during this special period, or going to the church, it's all good things, but during this special period, I think it's really important to just reduce the amount of time you being outside, because who knows, you might just pass by asymptomatic patient and you can, not only get infected by the virus, you can also potentially bring the virus to the people who live with you. So it's really dangerous. I really hope all of us take seriously. So give you a little bit contrast of what was happening in China when my parents, where they live is a community, right? And there's a bunch of condo buildings. Every 2 days, there's only one person in the household can go outside, get some necessary things grocery or toilet paper. You can still get it in China, yeah. Nobody hoarded toilet paper there, which is quite funny. They get temperature measure when you go into the store or when you're returning back to the community. There's a security guard will get you measure your temperature. Those are all, I think, very effective ways to help control the virus, which we're not doing it right here. Again, going back to the mask, that if you have one, wear it. I think that's a very effective way if you have to make a trip outside, grocery or a medical appointment that's urgent. So another thing I want to talk about is that, with the 100% 100% workforce reduction. Everyone has to work from home right now, but not everyone can. We're the lucky group. I can just grab a monitor and a computer at home and start my home office. There are a lot of people like the cab driver, the babysitters, waitress, anyone working in the restaurant industry, hotel industry, even the NBA players or the physical therapists. There are tons of people who cannot work from home. And a lot of them are counting on every paycheck to feed themselves and their loved ones. Virus keep going on, but those people has to leave. There are a lot of voice out there for small business, big corporations, but not much for the individuals. We heard about the Trump administration talking about giving the low-income family people $1,000 per month to help out the coronavirus situation, but we don't know when the bill is going to be passed. I think with this kind of situation, the stableness of the society going to be in question. Actually, last Friday, I hear people screaming on the street, and there was tons of cops cars and ambulance came, and I kind of look outside from the window and there's blood. I don't know exactly what happened, but it's quite shocking. And I think with people, so many people don't have stable income to live a minimum standard life, there's going to be more societal problems going to come out as well. So social distancing is very important at the very beginning. This is the most effective way by a lot of experts around the world. Basically, we have to cut down the source, isolate those infected areas as soon as we can. But then about 2 weeks ago, I was listening to a press conference. I was quite shocked of what I was hearing that time. So basically, they issue a travel advisory, but someone from the government says we still encourage people to travel to state of Washington and California. At that time, those two states have already have a lot of infected patients, and encouraging people to travel to there, I just thought it's unbelievable. When you have tens of thousands of people already get infected in the countries, it's too late to adopt the travel bans. We have to do these things early enough to flatten the curve. Alright, so the second thing I want to talk about is that this is not a one country problem. I think there are people have discrimination against Asian people in New York City or in other parts of the country. They think it's a Chinese virus. It is started there. It's because of people doing lab experiments there. I don't think any of that has been confirmed yet, and I don't think this is a good way to handle the virus. It's not going to be a one country problem with the world being so communicative these days. You can travel anywhere. It's really a global economy, so it takes, just like climate change or any other international problem, it takes the whole world to do it together. I was talking to my grandma last weekend, and she was very worried about my situation. I kind of comfort her a little bit, and I have food, I'm not going outside right now. So towards the end, she told me, she's like, I'm not praying for our family anymore every morning. By the way, she's a Buddhist, so my grandma woke up every day and prayed, and she said now I'm praying for the entire people. Hi guys, it's me again. So I almost uploaded my video last night, but figure since there has been so many updates about the coronavirus last week, I want to include that part in our video as well. So the most important thing happened last week is probably the $2.2 trillion stimulus plan that got passed in Senate and House and signed by President Trump yesterday. Let's look at what's the breakdown of the $2.2 trillion. So roughly 360 billion is going to the small business. It's gonna be in the form of loan and grants. You don't need any collateral or personal guarantee to take the loan. You just have to be have a number of employees less than 500, or if you're in restaurant or hotel industry, then you don't even worry about that. You automatically being eligible for the loan program. The good thing about the loan is that if you use that money to pay for the payroll expense, rent, or mortgage interest, you don't have to pay back the principal. So it's almost like a free money. As a small business owner, you can take up to 2.5 times your monthly payroll as your loan amount, up to 10 million. In contrast to 360 billion going to the small business, roughly 500 billion is going to the big corporations in this country. Obviously, there's some restrictions on that. Basically, you cannot use the money to buy back your stocks. If you're not familiar with the share repurchase concept, I'll explain here. So basically, if you have free cash as a public company, you can use that money to buy back the stock outstanding in the market. And usually when that happens, the stock price will go up. As we all know, the stock market tanked over the past couple of weeks, so there's a huge incentive for the business to do that. Obviously, the federal government don't want you to use the taxpayers' money to artificially inflate your stock price. They want you to use the money to fund your operation, to pay your employees. So that's why there's a restriction on that funding. In addition to that, airline company is getting additional 25 billion. That's a pretty sweet deal. State and local government is getting 150 billion. Of that $150 billion, New York State is getting 40 billion. Not sure how much is gonna eventually get allocated to New York City, but hopefully a considerable amount. Because as of last night, the confirmed cases in New York City has risen up close to 30 grand. Mayor was saying that for every 9.5 minutes, there's a death in the city. So that was pretty serious. For our healthcare providers and hospitals, they're getting 130 billions. Now let's look at what's the benefit goes back to the taxpayers. A big chunk of that is actually the unemployment insurance. So in the past, before the coronavirus, if you're jobless and you didn't quit the job yourself, you're eligible for 26 weeks of unemployment payment insurance. And the amount is calculated by dividing the highest quarterly payment you get by 26. Now the bill extended to 39 weeks and also increased that weekly payment by $600. It also includes the independent contractor, people who get furlough. When you're furloughed, basically you're not officially fired, but you're not getting paid either. So one of my friends is a physical therapist. He's not getting paid right now because there's no patient, but he's not fired either. So those people will automatically get included in the benefit as well. So let's look at the number. Let's say if you make 60 grand, and then before the virus, your quarterly payment will be 15 grand, which is 60 divided by 4. And you divide that number by 26, it's roughly $580. But you're not getting that $580 per week because there's a $500 cap in New York State, so you're getting 500 plus the 600 additional payment. Now you're getting 1,100 per week, which amount to 4,400 per month. I think that's a very decent amount to have a good life. In addition to the unemployment benefit insurance, family and household are also getting a one-time direct payment of $1,200 per adult and $500 per children. Obviously, there's gonna be an annual salary limit on that. So if you're single and you're making less than 75K per year, then you're automatically getting the $1,200 one-time paycheck. But if you make above 75 grand, then for every additional $100, the $1,200 paycheck will be deducted by $5. So let's look at an example together. If your annual salary is 80 grand, that means you're 5 grand above the 75K threshold. And divided by 100 times by 5, that's $250. So you deduct that amount from the $1,200, which means you get a one-time $950 paycheck. For a married couple, if your joint salary is less than 150K, then you'll get $1,200 times 2 automatically. Again, the every $5 deduction from additional 100 apply in the married cases as well. And if you have children, you get 500 additional. Again, this is a one-time payment, unlike the unemployment benefits. You will get weekly benefit of 39 weeks. So these are all the main points in the 2.2 trillion stimulus plan. Although there's another thing I want to talk about it, which didn't get highlighted a lot in media. The other group get benefit from the stimulus plan is actually the top 1% wealthy people in the country. So before the virus, if you have investment properties and you can deduct like depreciation against your general income up to 500 grand. Depreciation is really an accounting concept. Even when your property value goes up, you can still claim depreciation. So that's how a lot of wealthy people reduce their tax liabilities. Now the stimulus bill even removed this 500,000 limitation and allow the taxpayer to apply retrospectively to their tax return in 2019 and 2018. So that's a huge tax relief for the top 1%. Again, like a lot of tax plans in this country, we can see the group actually benefit from the stimulus plan is the corporations, maybe the small business. It's really the low-income families and the extremely wealthy group. Middle class, again, is not getting much benefit from the stimulus plan. So overall, the 2.2 trillion is a huge number. If you guys remember the 2008 financial crisis, at that time, the rescue package was only 831 billion. So the coronavirus rescue package is almost triple the amount at that time. It's the largest rescue package from federal government in the history of the country. So I know we kind of talk a lot of the numbers, a lot of serious things about the 2.2 trillion stimulus plan. Now let's talk about something chill. Let's talk about the life in New York right now. So I haven't been out of my apartment for entire 2 weeks, or maybe a little bit more than that actually. Not even picking up the package from downstairs because I figure it's nothing urgent there. Every day I woke up and do work, and then after work hours I'll do some simple exercises on the yoga mats. I found myself a lot of time to read, play pianos, binge watch some TV shows. I actually just finished season 2 of You last weekend. It was amazing. For those who watch season 1, I think season 2 is even better. Tiger King is also very popular right now. A lot of people are talking about that. It's basically a criminal documentary based on a true story happening in the United States. So I think that's probably the next thing I want to check out on Netflix. Seems like people are having a lot of family bonding time. So that's probably good things come out of the virus. There are people like me trying to avoid any kind of trip outside unless it's really, really necessary. But there are also a big group of people who really take advantage of the downtime in the city and go venture out. My friend was telling me that she saw a lot of people running along the Hudson River these days when the weather is good, even include those who haven't been running since the gym class in middle school. If you're one of them, please wash your hands once you got back home, or trying to pick a non-busy time to do that. Regarding groceries, this is probably one of the most important things we do right now. A lot of people are staying home and place their order online. Delivery services are very busy right now. Every morning when I wake up, I check on my phone, see if I can get a delivery for a grocery in 2 weeks. Even that, sometimes the delivery get delayed. So I've been using a mix of different apps like Instacart, Whole Foods on Amazon, Fresh Go for my Chinese grocery, and Peepop. So I'll attach the links under my video. If you happen to need grocery shopping online, you can check, and make sure you check early because that's the time when they free or open up the slots. So yeah, that's all I have. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and thanks again for watching my very first video. Please stay safe and take care. I promise this is not gonna be my last video here. I really want to create a community that we can all share our thoughts with each other. Hope you guys liked the video, and thanks for watching again. Stay safe and take care. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!